guys, so I've got a bit of a different video to share with you today. I have been asked from a few people to do a bit of a review on my Samsung Note 4. Now I did change over from the iPhone 5 to the Samsung. I hadn't actually owned a Samsung phone before, so I'm just going to go over a bit of a review on how I found the phone, things that I'm enjoying with the Samsung, also things that I've picked up that the iPhone had that the Samsung doesn't, and vice versa. So this is in no way any type of technical review. I do beauty videos here on YouTube, so this is coming from a girl who likes using a phone for social networking, for taking photos, updating blog posts and things like that. So if you want to see what I think of the Samsung, then just keep watching. So firstly, I did get the Samsung Note 4 in bronze gold. I absolutely love it. Bronze gold colour is only available to Telstra here in Australia, so it is a very sought after colour. I did have to wait a little bit longer in order to get this. I did pre-order it when they first released, so I didn't actually see this in person until I got it in my hands. So I had no idea what to expect, but I was definitely wanting to change over from the iPhone into something a bit different, and I have to say I am glad that I did. Just on some basic facts with the phone, so it does hold a 128GB mini SD card. The internal memory within the phone is 32 gigabytes, which in my opinion is really great, simply because with the iPhones you have to pay per internal memory. So I think with my iPhone 5 I had a 16 gigabyte memory within the phone, and that was almost $1,000 for the phone. So when you think about it, this holding 32 gigabytes and costing less than the average iPhone at 16 gigabytes to me is pretty amazing in itself. Now, I did constantly run out of space on my iPhone, mainly with photos. I did have to constantly back photos up from my phone. I also had to be very careful on how many music clips and things like that that I stored on the phone, because I did take up a lot of memory. I also had to be careful again with how many apps I downloaded onto the phone, because again they would take up a lot of room, and with the Samsung, knowing that it has an internal memory of 32 gigabytes, it just is a bit of a relief in knowing that I'm definitely not going to run out of space anytime soon. And especially if I do put in a memory card, well, I'm just going to have memory forever, which is great. So a few basic things with the style of the phone. So it is the bronze gold edition. I do have a screen protector on the front just to make sure I don't get any scratches. It is one that I bought off the Samsung website, so it is from Samsung, the screen protector. The back of it I think is beautiful. I'm so glad that I did pick up the bronze gold version. I think it looks very classic. I think if any man or woman had this phone, I just think it looks very stylish, very classic and very nice. So even if you didn't put a different cover on this, I just think it looks just a very elegant looking phone. You can see on the very edges that it has a silver aluminium, or the metal, and I mean it feels very high end. It has a nice weight to it. It feels very good quality. It doesn't feel cheap. It doesn't look cheap. It does look really great with the design that they've decided to choose for the Samsung Note 4. So apparently the back is just a faux leather backing. I really quite like it. I like the texturing on the back. I think it feels nice. It doesn't hold any marks or fingerprints. So some other basic features, it does have heart rate monitor at the back. This is also the flash for the camera. So when you're taking selfies with the front camera, you can use this to activate taking the photo. So as you release your finger, it will then take the photo, which is really great. So when you're holding it, taking a photo, it's a very easy function to do, rather than trying to hold the phone, you know, balance it with one hand and then try and take the picture by pressing the button in the middle of the screen. I won't go into too many details like the S Pen. Obviously, if you guys want to see some technical videos in regards that sort of thing, there's definitely some better ones here on YouTube that'll be able to give you some more useful information than me. The only time that I find that I use the S Pen is if I'm trying to copy text within an email or something, and I'm trying to specifically copy it. So you can see here, the text is really small. Sometimes it's a bit hard to get your finger to select it. So I'll pull the pen out just so I can specifically copy an area, copy it, and then I normally just put it straight back in. The paste function is there. I can literally just hold it down and paste. That is really the only time that I use the S Pen. I haven't really gone into the function of using clipboard and things like that with it yet. I will soon experiment, but I have had the phone a little bit over a month now, so I'm still getting my head around using the S Pen. So the headphone jack is at the top of the phone, just up here. I basically only ever use this to hook up the aux to my car so I can play music and things like that. But with the iPhone, I believe it was down the bottom. I do like it that it is up the top because I feel like it's more accessible, it's easier. It's just a better place to hold it. With your iPhone, especially in the car, I would sit my phone in my cup holder and the cord would obviously come down the bottom of the phone. It would never sit in there properly, but coming out of the top, it just makes that a bit easier. So the display itself, I have to say, is one of the biggest things that I did notice coming from the iPhone 5. It is a big phone. If you upgrade to the Samsung Note, expect comments, expect people to be shocked. A lot of people automatically, their reaction is, oh my God, is that an iPad? Is that a brick? Is that, you know, what is that? Is that a phone, laptop, etc.? Expect those types of comments because people are not used to seeing phones this big. Now, I believe the Apple iPhone Plus, the new version that came out, I believe that is the same size as the Note. I'm not sure. If I'm wrong, please correct me, but I believe it's the same size. So I think as time goes on, people will get used to the size of the phones increasing and you won't get that as often. But because these are still relatively new in the tech world compared to a lot of iPhone users, I think people will continue having those types of opinions on these bigger phones. I have to say it's definitely not too big. That's definitely a question I get quite a lot is the phone too big? Does it fit in a pocket? Yes, it fits in pockets, but I never carry my phone in a pocket anyway. I hold it and I put it in my handbag. So it fits in clutch bags, no problem. And I have tested it in a pocket and it does fit. I love the usability of how big the screen is. I love being able to check my emails and be able to view things really nicely and easily, be able to read on it, watch videos, go on the internet. There's so many pluses. I mean, when you're using a lot of social networking apps, it's so much nicer to be able to see pictures at a glance in awesome quality, in a large view, and everything just displays so much nicer. It's so beautiful being able to see just the quality of photos and the quality of images. So again, this is something for social networking that I really love. YouTube, it plays clips so clear, crystal clear, and it's really enjoyable to watch and use. There's also some bonuses with some games, and yes, I do play games on my phone. I do have Farmville. The display on it is 1,000 times better than my iPhone ever had. There's quality on this that I didn't even know existed from my iPhone, and that says a lot because I used to think the iPhone quality was absolutely amazing, but since coming to the Samsung, there's so much more. I know another question a lot of people had, and something I did wonder, was how fast it would react. So when you touch something, how fast does it take for it to open up? You know, is there a lag? Is it hard switching between things? You know, can you multitask and all those sorts of questions? And the answer is yes. I believe, and I'm saying this in no way as a negative form, I believe that it is just a tad bit slower than what I'm used to with the iPhone, because the iPhone just seemed to be practically instant. This to me has a very slight lag, and when I say slight, I'm talking about, you know, a couple of seconds. It is still very fast. Now, I have got a lot of photos on here, I've got a lot of music and a lot of apps. I definitely still have a lot of space, so I don't know if that would change once I put a memory card in here or not. I do notice a bit of a lag. Would it prevent me from buying this again? No. So it isn't that significant, but comparing the Samsung to the iPhone, I do notice that there is a very slight lag. Now, one awesome thing I love about the Samsung itself is the battery. So one awesome feature that the Samsung has here is fast charging. Now, the ability to charge this phone, I believe that it's about 50% of the phone, between 50 and 70% of the phone's battery within about half an hour. So you can get a full charge in about an hour, which is absolutely unheard of. One thing that I came to realize with the iPhone was that every day I had to charge my phone. My phone would die by 5 o'clock that day, and there was no other choice than to charge it every single night. I could not get out with not charging it. Now, I've actually tested this out yesterday. I used YouTube, I used Instagram, Facebook, I used the games, all sorts of things, and I did that for the whole day. I didn't charge it overnight, and my battery still lasted me until about 4 o'clock the next day, and it still hadn't died on me. It was basically warning me to say that it was going to die soon, but it didn't. And I was absolutely shocked by that. I was absolutely amazed, because comparing to my iPhone, that is just absolutely unheard of. So if you do happen to forget your charger and you are smart with how you use the phone, I didn't adjust any of, these auto settings to save your power or anything like that. But if you're smart and you use those options, this would definitely last you 2, 3, possibly 3 days worth. So the battery on it is just unheard of in my opinion. I absolutely love it. And I love the fact that if I do forget to charge my phone, or I don't have my charger, that I'm still going to be able to survive with my phone for a little bit longer than 1 day. So the camera itself has a 16 megapixel camera on the back. I believe the front camera is about a 2 megapixel, a 3 megapixel. I know it is quite low, but it's still quite decent. Some cool functions that I've noticed with the phone that I like doing is I like to be able to change the size of the photo so it can take photos for Instagram. So how I did this is in settings. You then have this option to select the picture size. There's a selection here which is 1:1, and it's 8.9 megapixels. You can select that and it crops it so that you can take a photo that will fit for Instagram. If you want to change this to a full-size picture, you can put it as the whole 16 megapixels and it will fill the entire screen. It has amazing quality camera. I have to say there's definitely no complaints whatsoever. That was one of the main things that I really wanted to see the quality of this, because one of the biggest reasons for getting this phone was so that I could use it for my blogging, for my social networking, and take really great photos. And it does. It zooms in really nicely, it focuses well. I think the only thing that I really do notice that the phone struggles with is in low light conditions, and it does seem to struggle a bit more than the iPhone did with low light. But you can see the zoom functionality in it is just superb, and it's definitely something I really do enjoy with the phone. So there's some other really cool functions with the phone itself. With the camera option, I believe there's an option to be able to take a wide selfie. So if you're trying to take a photo of a large group of people, it allows you to do that, I guess, as more of like a panorama shot. I haven't been in a situation where I've been able to test that out yet, but the camera quality on it is absolutely amazing, and I love that I'm able to take photos and upload them onto my blog, which I use WordPress to do. Now, I haven't gone into a whole heap of other settings, but I do know you can change some of the modes in which it takes the photo. So you have beauty face, and I believe what this does is it puts like a beauty filter, and it basically blurs your face. So it blurs out any imperfections. So you can do, slight beauty, or you can go full ball. So I'll just take a photo and show you guys. Alright, so I've just gone ahead and taken couple photos. This photo itself is with no beauty feature. This, I've slightly improved the beauty feature to about 3 to 4, and this is full-blown beauty feature. So you can see that it just blurs out any imperfections, and you looked photoshopped. So that's the original, and that's with the beauty function. So if you like those kinds of things, it's definitely a cool little thing to play around with. I don't use it a whole heap because I do feel like it can make you look pretty fake, but if that's your kind of thing, it definitely has that with the phone. One of the things that I did look at coming from the iPhone was how the phone works. So how you need to swipe, how you select things, how you get to options and things like that. So it has a swipe down option, and then you have a whole heap of shortcuts. You can then obviously change the screen brightness, and then it has a few other options on Quick Connect, which shows up all your connections. And the other option is S Finder. So I believe this you can search for items within your phone. So if you're looking for maps, it'll bring up maps, etc. If I want to access Facebook, it's sort of like a search function within the phone. Anything with Facebook, it will bring it up. You can obviously adjust the items that appear by going through this option. You can then go through and select the items that you want to appear. One of the items that I did actually look for within this area was the torch function, because with the iPhone, that is a basic shortcut that comes up straight away. What I ended up doing was I actually found the shortcut within the phone and I added it as a widget, so that if I needed to use the torch for whatever reason, I have it right on the main screen there. So that was sort of an easy way of, I guess, putting that function somewhere where I can use it. So again, with the Samsung, same with the iPhone, is you can create folders. I have a whole heap of folders set up for various different things, and very easy to do. To move things around within the screen itself, you literally hold the background and then you have so many different customizable options. So you can change your wallpapers this way, widgets, or home screen settings. So with the widgets, that's adding items like this with the weather, where it gives you a block figure of some kind. I've also got a clock widget that I've stuck up on here. I've got the music and then my usage through Telstra, as well as a Shazam icon there. So I love the fact that you can do that. Obviously those things are quite limited with the iPhone, but I really enjoy doing things like that because I like the functionality of being able to customize your phone and make it yours and make it feel like it's yours. So a few things that I have actually been discovering are things like how to use Siri. I don't know what it's called on the Samsung. So basically speaking with the phone and getting it to do functions for you. Also searching, that was always something that I used a whole heap on the iPhone, was when you slid to the far left, that it came up with the search function. So with the Samsung, it obviously comes up with something different. Now, I haven't used whatever this is a whole heap, so I believe it just goes through and gives you information on news, sports. So I think it's more of like a newspaper kind of feel to me, but it's just not something that I would use, and from as far as I know, you can't remove that. That's inbuilt within the software of the phone. How I access the search function is by pressing down the middle button, and it will then come up with a search function. So you can then type in here, maps. This is how you get into maps. So to me, that's the easiest way in order to search within the phone. If I need to find something quickly and I need to access it, I literally hold this down and then I can search through the phone. To access Siri, you literally just press this button twice. Open Maps. And so it will then open up what you need. Now, I have been playing around with maps, and you can actually get it to navigate you to particular places, but every time I have tried that, it misunderstands what I'm asking it to navigate me to, and so far it's never gotten the places correct. So using that function is pretty limited. I think if you're going to a particular suburb and you set it very clear, you may be in luck, but I so far haven't had any luck with it understanding my accent or what I'm asking it to navigate to. The lock button for the phone itself is on the side of the phone instead of the top like the iPhone. Now, I have to say, I don't particularly like this option. I do prefer it being on the top, and the reason why, when you're holding this phone, you hold onto it. Because it's large, you want to make sure that you're not going to drop it. And I find when I'm holding onto it just to do things, I lock the phone by accident. So if I'm holding onto it, sometimes I'll just accidentally press it and then it locks it on me and I've got to unlock it. So I'd say that's one of the things that I do prefer on the iPhone is the lock button out of the way where you can't really knock it. I feel like when you lock the phone, you're purposely pressing that area because you feel like locking it. The lock button does coincide with the volume buttons that go up and down, so they're sort of on around the same side. The volume up and down keys are really nice and easy to use. I've had no problems with them whatsoever. One other thing that I really do love about the Samsung is being able to move around the photos. This was always such a huge thing for me with the iPhone, was that it was impossible to change where you stored photos. You could create folders, but it would never physically grab that picture and move it across within the folder. It always made a copy of it. So you constantly still had, you know, your main folder that had all of your photos in it. And to me, it's just not ease of access. If you're wanting to look for a particular photo, you want to be able to search, go to a certain folder, open it up, and that's what you're looking for. One amazing thing that I love with the Samsung is that you can do that. So typically what happens is when you take photos, they sit within this category of camera. You can then go ahead and select the photos and then move them across into an album that you want. It will grab them out of that area and it will literally move them across. There's no copies, there's no double photos, nothing. Once it's moved across, it's now in that new folder. So I love that. I love being able to just easily create folders, move photos around, categorize things. It definitely makes it a lot more easier in my opinion. That's definitely a really huge function that I love with the Samsung. So some cool things that you can customize are the size of the text within things like your messages, and you can use the volume key in order to do that. So it will make the text as big or small as you like, which is just a cool little function there. Now, being able to change the background to your messages, you go into your messages section and then settings and then display. You've then got two different options. So you've got bubble style and background style. Background style, you can then change whatever the background you want to appear. So you can go ahead and choose some of their own customizable backgrounds, or you can add your own, which I've done here with the little hearts. You can then also change the bubble style. So that's in which the text messages appear. So they've just got some really cute little different options, and again, it just comes down to customizing things for yourself, and I just think it's really cute that you're able to do that. And these ones have these little balloons, which is so cute. I do really wish that they had an option to change the colors. That's the only thing that this doesn't have, is whatever these are preset to, they're the only options that you've got. Now, I have actually filmed a what's on my phone tag, so basically going over the apps that I use on my phone. So I'll do a little brief intro on some of the customizable things that I use, but if you want to find out more about what apps I keep on my phone, then make sure to check that video out. The main apps that I use to change icons like the Facebook, Instagram, email, etc. is through an app called Cocopa. And what this does is it creates shortcuts for the icon itself and changes the icon into, you know, whatever you choose that you want it to be. Now, the iPhone does have this ability in order to change the icons, but the thing that I noticed with the iPhone is that it still kept your existing app icon. So you literally had a shortcut to the new, you know, nice looking icon, and then you also had the old Facebook icon. So what I used to do is I used to actually move all the icons that I replaced into a folder, and I would hide that in the back of the phone somewhere because it wouldn't replace it. With the Samsung, whatever app that you're replacing the icon for, it will literally replace the previous icon. So you don't have double icons. It will literally overlap and it will replace what it is. So you don't have double ups, which is awesome. That makes sense, right? So that's a really great thing that I do enjoy about this and customizing the icons. It just makes it neater. It makes the phone work nicer. So I love those kinds of things. Now for cool backgrounds like the one that I have been using the app called Line Deco. This is one that I only recently discovered. You can download wallpapers from Cocopa, but these have some really nice looking ones as well. So if you like those kinds of customizing backgrounds and things like that, then they're definitely a couple of apps that you may want to check out. So one other option that I do like using a lot is being able to end your active apps. So this just allows you to close any apps that you're no longer using, just to help the phone make it a little bit faster and a bit better to use. So again, I've just put a little widget here so I can do that very easily and just select that to do it. Now, another cool function that I've used on the phone, and the iPhone didn't have this at the time, was the ability to add a widget of my husband. And what this allows me to do is press on that logo and it will automatically call him. Now with the iPhone, I actually paid for an app, I believe it was called Call Husband, and I was able to shortcut his mobile number to the app icon so that when I pressed it, it would then call him. So the fact that I'm able to just physically do it within the phone, you can add a whole heap of different shortcuts to however many people you need, and it will automatically put the widget on there, which is really awesome. The way that the Samsung works in difference to the iPhone that I really enjoy is that everything that you have appearing on your home screens or on your screen are items that you've decided to put there. So you can remove anything that you have on there, obviously other than this apps icon, but the apps icon opens up everything that's within the phone itself. So this is kind of like the back end of the phone. So you can basically grab whatever you want, hold it down, and then drag it onto somewhere on the phone to add it as an icon. Then you can then just go and remove it. So I love that function that you have what you need to see, but if you need to access things, then you can obviously go through and find what you're looking for on the phone. When I'm on the run, I can basically do everything I need to do for here on YouTube on the phone itself, which I do really love. Now, I've known a few people to actually use their phones to film and upload onto YouTube. Again, it's not something I've looked into, but I have heard it is possible. So if that's something that you're into and that you like, then definitely it's something to have a look into to see what types of apps people use to do that for editing and such. Now, with the phone itself, I do have the bronze gold. I did pick up I believe these are called the Samsung S cover or the S View cover. This is basically a cover for the phone. Now, I picked up the one in mint. Now, it isn't really a mint color to me. This is definitely more of a blue or a very light aqua color. Still a really nice cover, and it has its own functionality within itself. It is a really clever little cover. It's very slimline and very nice looking. So I will be sure to do another video on a bit of a review of the S cover and how that works if you guys are interested in that. So I will try and do that very soon. Now, one of the other great things with the phone itself is the volume is something that a lot of people ask about. So I'm just going to do a bit of a demonstration so you guys can see. So what I'm going to do is play music and then also some ringtones so you can see the difference in the sound. So I've just gone ahead and turned all the volumes up. So I'm just going to go and play the ringtone. Obviously, depending on the ringtone that you choose, it's obviously going to change how loud it will play. But I've not had any problems with any of the ringtones that I've selected. They are definitely loud enough, and what I normally do is I never really set my volume levels to be the highest anyway, and I find that they're still effective. So I'll just play a few other different ones just to let you guys see. Now, for notifications, this is what I have as my text message. And to this day, I haven't had any issues with not hearing it. So again, obviously, depending on whatever sound you decide to choose, it may differ how loud you can actually hear it. And so onto music. Now I have added a widget up the top here so I can access my music easily, and I will show you the differences in volume. So So definitely no complaints there for me. Now, a few things that I have had to download on the phone are things like a notepad, because there wasn't one on the phone itself, which I believe the iPhone does have. I'm not entirely sure with that one. Again, no real biggie, but definitely something I did notice, only because it was something that I use quite often. So they're really the main things that I can think about that I guess I have looked at or that I've been interested in. So again, if you're looking for a really in-depth technical review, then there's definitely some other great videos here on YouTube, so feel free to check those out. But I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this if you have been interested in getting the Samsung Note 4 and you've been a little bit curious about a few of the options or from changing over from the iPhone to the Samsung. I definitely don't regret changing over. There's so many bonuses in changing over to the Samsung that I'm so happy about. There's just a few things that really, at the end of the day, I really just wanted to get a change from the iPhone, and the Samsung Note definitely had a lot of features that I wanted to check out, and I'm definitely not disappointed. So I hope you guys like watching my little review on the Samsung Note 4. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye. I mean, it doesn't look that big, does it? I don't think it looks that big. I don't know, to me it doesn't look that bad. I don't know.